Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a worth the buy or nah foundation review on the Almay Skin Perfecting Comfort Matte Foundation. Now I did mention this foundation in a recent video where I was trying new makeup. I didn't do a full-blown review on this, but a lot of you guys asked me if I could just do a dedicated worth the buy or not foundation review. So I was like, why not? We can go ahead and wear it, really test it for everything that it is. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. This is a drugstore foundation that you can find at any drugstore. I found this personally at Ulta in their affordable section. And I was really intrigued because this is a new product. It's supposed to be a comfort matte foundation, which sounds great for anybody that does have oily skin, especially during these seasons where it's really cold out. It's like 20 degrees out right now. So I need something that's not gonna dehydrate me or dry me out. And I feel like this would be awesome. It's fragrance free, it's hyperallergenic. It just sounds like a good situation. Now, before this, I hadn't tried anything from Almay, so I don't really know much about the brand. It did retail for $13.99. I went ahead and moisturized my first Day Beauty moisturizer, and I'm gonna be taking my primers now. So I've been obsessed with these two primers from KOKIE Cosmetics. The first one I like to use is the blurring primer. The reason I like this blurring primer is because it's not one of those primers that will clog up your pores and smooth it like with those silicone base. This one is like a gel-like consistency that looks like that, and it's so hydrating. And I just feel like it absorbs right into your skin. It's almost like a water consistency, but it is like jelly-like. So I just feel like not only does it blur out, but it also hydrates my skin. And that's so different than what I've seen with a lot of blurring primers. You guys know, blurring primers typically are super thick and then they clog the pores even more, and it's just a bad situation. So I was really impressed with this type of consistency because I feel like for this time of the year, like I mentioned earlier, it's cold and we just need something that's going to make sure that our skin looks nice and that's also hydrated. So I like to apply that in the areas where I have enlarged pores just to blur everything out. So right here, and a little bit on my nose with whatever I have left. And I also like it because it kind of gives me a little bit of a tacky consistency, which is great for when you're putting the foundation on top so that everything grips into place. So we have that. Super refreshing, very nice, very affordable product. You can find this on KOKIE Cosmetics website for a really good price. Now, the next one is another KOKIE Cosmetics. I've been using both of them. I've been using the blurring in the center and then the matte one in the outer parts of the face. So this one is a little bit more of a creamy consistency, and I'm just gonna be applying this in the areas where I get super oily. So like my smile lines is like the worst. Also on these outer edges of the face. I do have to say with this product, I just feel like it does such a good job of absorbing those oils immediately and just making the skin look oil-free in a very natural way. These are the two primers that I've been using a lot lately, and they just completely changed the game for my face and my application of makeup. So the blurring primer and then the So Matte primer. They also have a hydrating primer for people that have dry skin, and these, like I mentioned, KOKIECosmetics.com, very affordable. You can also use my discount code, which is THEMEXICANBEAUTYY, and save yourself 25% off your order. So definitely use that and you'll save yourself a good amount. Now let's go ahead and start with the foundation. Like always, I'm going to be doing one side with my sponge and the other side with my brush. I did purchase this in the shade Warm Cashew 220. And let me see if it says anything else about this. It's a lightweight feel, buildable coverage, blurs looks of pores, fine lines, and imperfections. I also really like the fact that it's fragrance free because you guys know sensitive people can't really have a lot of fragrance on their face. Reminds me of those foundations that I used to use back when I was like in high school, that literally looked like this, and then they had no pump or anything. They were just like, you know, your basic foundation. Now it's like the pump, the like super pretty packaging, but sometimes the like super basic packaging can be just as good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start off with this side. I'm gonna go ahead and just put some foundation on the back of my hand. Only thing I don't like about these type of foundations is that they can get a little messy because it's not like a pump. This is a little bit runny, as you can see, but let's go ahead and put it on. I always like to dot my foundation because that really helps me kind of, you know, put it where I really want the most coverage. Then I'm going to be going in with my e.l.f. sponge and just begin blending. It blends very, very easily right into the skin. I feel like the color is also a good match. This foundation is supposed to be a medium coverage foundation. And I feel like right now it covered actually a good amount of everything that I would like a foundation to cover with my rosacea. You can see it looks very perfected, the difference. Foundation, no foundation. I feel like it really becomes one with the skin, which I am like all here for. As for the matte finish, I feel like it's a very like soft matte finish. It's not like drying out. You can definitely tell that there's no oil peeking through, which is good, because some foundations claim to be matte and then you like see like, you know, like a little bit of radiance and you're like, this is not a matte foundation. I do have to say with this foundation, it does dry a little bit faster than usual. It's nothing too crazy. I think with that coverage, we're good. I feel like anything more I don't need, honestly, because I feel like it covered everything I needed it to cover. The redness is completely gone on the cheek, and that's really where I like to really target the majority of the foundation when I do apply foundation on my face. And you can see the big difference. See this face? This side definitely does have that redness. This side is like completely blanked out. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the foundation with my kabuki brush. I'm going to be using my Morphe JH03 brush, and we are just going to be applying it with the brush. I feel like the brush is going to give me like a little bit more of like a fuller coverage, but we'll see. I feel like I'm getting the same amount of coverage actually. I thought it would be a little bit more fuller because with the sponge it's damp, but I feel like it's honestly the same amount. I guess that's a good thing for the sponge because that means that like even if you do use a damp sponge, you're still gonna get that medium buildable coverage. So it doesn't really matter what you use. You can use either a brush or a sponge, and I think you're going to be in good hands. I also feel like this is a good foundation for somebody that does like a more natural finish, because I feel like with this one, you don't have to worry about, oh my God, I'm scared to put it on because it's gonna be like way too full coverage. No, I feel like this foundation is just enough to where you're like, okay, if I wanna leave it a more like natural finish, I can. If I want to build it up and make it more full coverage, you also can do that. So you can really make this a natural finish or a more glam finish. And I think that's awesome. The only thing that I would say with these type of foundations that come in these jars with no pump is that too much came out and like I don't need all that, and I hate wasting foundation. Like it's not my thing. But I don't, like I mentioned, if I don't need any more, I don't want to keep packing it on. I really like it, and I'm definitely getting matte vibes here. It's not anything like, oh, some radiance peeking through, oh, look skin. Like, no, this is a good matte foundation that is looking matte. It looks like I have a powder over my foundation. Definitely wouldn't recommend this for somebody that does have dry skin because it's just going to separate and it's not going to look pretty. I think this is definitely for somebody that's looking for a good matte foundation. I have to say it's very comfortable, lightweight. It doesn't feel like I have any foundation on my skin. This is pretty much what we have going on. The color 220 Warm Cashew, I think this is a great color. And this one, like I mentioned, I did find in store at Ulta. I wanted to go in store because I wanted to see their shade range to make sure that I picked up the right shade, because you guys know online sometimes they can be misleading. And also with drugstore brands, you have to keep in mind that they sometimes have less shades, so you just want to make sure that you pick up the right one. I feel like the primers allowed the foundation to have a good starting point and a starting base. It just gripped right on, and I feel like it looks really lovely. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup, and then I'm going to come back and give you guys my very first impressions, and then we can go ahead and start the day. Right now it is around 8:45 a.m. so you guys kind of get a clue of where we're at. Very early in the morning, and I do plan on wearing this for a long day. I want to really get it's worth and give you guys all the tea. So I'll be right back and I'll be looking a little bit more snatched. Okay guys, so I am back. I finished my entire face of makeup. As you guys know, I put this foundation on and I feel like it worked great with all my products. Nothing like separated, everything went on very smooth. I went ahead and did a little bit of baking on my under eye because of my creasing, and it worked well, which I was very impressed with, because you guys know sometimes with matte foundations, you go ahead and bake with powder, it just ends up being like a hot mess. It looks too dry. It doesn't look like that whatsoever. I feel like as I'm wearing it more, like it just looks like a healthy matte finish. Definitely a matte finish. Like I feel like I look like I have a powder over my skin, but it still looks very nice and good. It doesn't look like matte and flat. Right now it is 9:30 a.m. So I'm going to be wearing this for the entire day, and I'm going to let you guys know how this does. I'm also going to be showing you this foundation in natural lighting up close so you guys can see how it looks with everything. I feel like with my texture, it looks fine. It does not enhance my texture, which is something that I really appreciate, because with some foundations, when I do have the texture on the rosacea, it looks really intense. And I feel like this isn't enhancing it. It's not like blurring it or anything, but it's not like making it look more obvious than what's already there. So that is something that I definitely do appreciate, and I'm excited to see how this is gonna do. So stay tuned. My final thoughts and whether I think this is something worth checking out at your local drugstore or Ulta. Okay guys, so right now it is 11 at night. I literally have been wearing this for the entire day. I was just busy editing my life away, so I wanted to come on here before I took off this makeup, because of course I wanted to give you guys my final thoughts on the Almay foundation. And I have to say, we are looking dewy right now. I feel like it's kind of like a radiant glow. Like this is a glow that like people that have really dry skin like crave for. Obviously if you have oily skin, you're like, what the fuck is this, you know? But I feel like considering it's 11 p.m., I feel like it held up really well all through the day. I have to say, I love the fact that foundation through the day like sunk into the skin and really became one with the skin. I feel like a lot of the day, it looked like I had a powder finish. Like it definitely looked like I had foundation on, but it didn't feel like I had foundation on. It's definitely like a more glammed up look, but now like it literally is like all absorbed into my skin, and I feel like it looks a little dewy. Like I do look dewy. So definitely if you wear it for as many hours as I did, you're gonna get dewy through the day. I feel like it lasts matte for about 5 to 6 hours, which I think is pretty good, especially for a drugstore product, because you guys know that when we can find drugstore gems, we're like all over it. This does remind me a little bit of my KOKIE Cosmetics Full Cover Foundation. Now I love this foundation. You can see I literally have like used a good amount of it. It's similar, but I feel like this one is a little bit more matte for longer, and this one is one of those foundations that definitely does give you that good coverage and definitely does look very pretty on the skin. So it's really up to you and your preference. Definitely wouldn't recommend this for dry skin people or normal skin people that don't like matte foundations, because this is a matte foundation, and when you apply it, it dries like a matte foundation. So this is definitely geared more so to my combination to oily skin people, and I think for the price, $13.99, really good. The only thing that I'm not the biggest fan of is the fact that this doesn't have a pump, so like when I pour some out, I tend to over pour just because I'm not used to it. But other than that, I think it's pretty good. The color is also pretty good. It did get a little bit darker through the day. I do think that this shade, Warm Cashew, is probably my closest match. So those are pretty much all my thoughts. I hope that this video was useful, especially for those of you that requested me to do a review on the Almay foundation. I always like bringing you guys as many reviews as possible. I know I haven't done that many foundation reviews lately, so I'm definitely getting back into it. I feel like towards the end of the year is when you kind of don't have that many foundations, because not many brands are launching them. But I know as soon as January kicks, they're just gonna come right out. So yeah, we're just taking a little mini break, but I'm still here. I'm still doing foundation reviews. So if there's anything you want me to review, let me know. There's 3 foundations that I am going to be reviewing, so stay tuned for those. But always leave your thoughts down below. I love interacting with you guys. You guys are like my internet BFF, so if we can start a conversation down below, that's always a lot of fun for me. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And also don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you never miss my videos, because why would you? So do those 2 things. And that being said, I love you guys so much, and I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon for a brand new video. Bye guys.